What it costs. Cruise ship. 24 hours, 6,000 people. A floating power plant. 20 restaurants. A city at sea. What does it actually cost to keep a cruise ship alive for one day? Tonight we print the receipt line by line. Some numbers will surprise you. Stay to the end for 3 what-if scenarios, a day in the lifetime line, and the grand total. Let's go. We are talking about a modern large ship, around 4,000 passengers, around 1,500 crew, a typical 7-day loop. All figures are in United States dollars, estimates based on public information. Numbers vary by ship, by route, and by season. Our 24-hour bill has 7 buckets: fuel and propulsion, food and beverage, crew wages and benefits, port fees and taxes, hotel operations, power, water, and waste, insurance, maintenance, and capital, entertainment and bandwidth. That is the headline. Now, the detail. Bucket 1. Fuel is the ship's oxygen. At cruising speed, a big ship can burn about 150 tons in 24 hours. At an average of about $660 per ton, that is about $99,000, just to push water aside. Even standing still, the hotel load keeps humming. Lights, kitchens, elevators, air conditioning, fresh water, laundry. That adds roughly 30 tons more, about $21,000. Fuel plus hotel load, about $120,000 today. Why so much? Because water fights back. Drag rises with speed. Power demand climbs even faster. 2 extra knots can feel like turning on a money hose. Could we save by slowing down? Drop 2 knots and burn can fall 10 to 15%. That is about $10,000 to $15,000 saved today. But schedules are contracts. Arrive late, lose your berth, ruin excursions, and trigger penalties. Sea state matters. Headwinds and rough seas push consumption up. Flat water and tailwinds nudge it down. Fuel is the ship's breathing rate. Captains watch the curve, not just the clock. Some ships burn cleaner fuels. Some install scrubbers. Some sip LNG. Some plug into shore power in port. Every choice moves the receipt and the headlines. Bucket 2. Food and beverage. Food feels free. It is not. Plan about $18 per guest per day for food, and about $6 for non-alcoholic drinks. Multiply by 4,000 passengers, and you land near $96,000 per day. Where does it go? Produce. Dairy, bread, meat, fish, fresh fruit early in the week, frozen stores later, coffee, tea, juices, ice. Yes, ice has a cost. Bakeries run all night, dough proofing while most cabins sleep. By sunrise, ovens turn plans into breakfast. Variety has a price. Buffet variety drives waste, around 10% across a week. Menus fight waste with rotation. Breakfast overlaps lunch. Lunch feeds late snacks. Leftovers become soups and salads. Cold storage is a world of its own. Walk-in coolers, freezers, chilled prep rooms, thermometers everywhere. Health inspections are relentless. Surfaces sanitized, temperatures logged, hands washed again. On today's receipt, about $96,000 before a single premium cocktail is poured. Bucket 3. Crew wages and benefits. Cities run on people. Deck and engine teams. Housekeeping and laundry. Dining and galley. Entertainment and tech. Medical and security. A large ship may sail with about 1,500 crew. Smoothed across rotations, travel, visas, onboard housing and meals, an all-in daily average around $120 per crew member is realistic. Multiply it out, about $180,000 per day. That number hides a lot. Training and certifications, safety drills and refreshers, flights to and from contracts, uniforms, shoes, PPE, crew internet plans. The ship is also a dorm and a cafeteria. Cabins below the waterline, mess halls open odd hours, crew gyms, crew clinics. Every role has a rhythm. Housekeeping works in waves, dining peaks then resets. Engineers tend generators and chillers no one ever sees. Bridge teams never stop. 4 on, 8 off. Eyes on radar, eyes on weather. This is the heartbeat of the city at sea. A ship is talent stitched to timing. Cabin stewards work in waves. Doors open in sequence. Beds flip with muscle memory. Carts roll like little logistics trains. Turnover days feel like marathons. The galley is choreography. Prep cooks dice and portion. Sauciers live at the stove. Bakers count hours, not minutes. Dish stations hum because plates never stop. A dining room is theater. Hosts seat in patterns to load sections evenly. Servers carry maps in their head. Bussers reset to 0 in seconds, not minutes. Back of house meets front of house at the pass where hot plates become timing math. Entertainment breathes deadlines. Cue to cue is a ritual. Lighting plots mark the floor. Wardrobe repairs a busted seam with seconds to spare. Audio rides the fader like breathing. Engineers live in the hum. Generators carry more than lights. They feed the cold that feeds the air. They feed the heaters that keep kitchens safe. They feed the pumps that keep water sweet. Bridge teams are eyes and pencils. Checklists run like rosaries. Fix bearings. Fix arrival times. Fix fuel curves to tomorrow's wind. Medical runs a small clinic at sea. Sprains. Stomach bugs. Anxious nights. Supplies expire on calendars. Oxygen must be counted like dessert spoons. Security is choreography too. Quiet presence in crowds. Watch the gangway. Watch the cameras. Safety drills are non-negotiable. Guests notice the show. They do not see the rehearsal. Scale multiplies everything. More cabins mean more sheets. More sheets turn laundry into a factory. More guests mean bigger shows. Bigger shows demand bigger crews. But scale gives gifts back. Bulk buying trims unit costs. Menus cross-use ingredients. Standard parts shrink the spares list. Training scales too. One procedure, taught 1,000 times, becomes muscle memory. The bill you saw in crew wages is not just pay. It is predictability. It is reliability. It is the difference between smooth and sorry. Bucket 4. Port fees, taxes, and pilotage. Every stop is a bill. Dockage by size and time. Passenger fees per head. Pilotage to bring the ship in. Tugs when needed. Security fees. Waste landing fees. Customs and port health. Spread across sea days and port days, a typical loop runs about $60,000 per day. Marquee ports are pricier. Smaller calls are cheaper. But the average sticks. Ports are partners and toll booths. Miss a slot and you wait. Arrive early, pay to drift or slow steam. Stay too long, pay more. Bucket 5. Hotel operations. Power, water, and waste. Now the invisible factory. This ship makes its own fresh water. Desalination turns seawater into showers and soup. Hundreds of cubic meters a day. Reverse osmosis for efficiency. Evaporators when waste heat helps. Both need pumps. Both need maintenance. Cooling comes from big chillers. They feed air handlers across decks and cabins. The HVAC loop is a giant bloodstream. Dozens of elevators move non-stop. The laundry never sleeps. Tons of linens processed every day. Towels, sheets, tablecloths, uniforms. Wastewater is treated to strict standards. Gray water, black water, bilge water. Sensors and separators. Filters and ultraviolet. Chemicals, filters, detergents, spare parts. The little bills that never stop. Beyond the fuel we counted, a reasonable roll-up is about $45,000 today. A quiet number with loud consequences if you ever cut it. What does a floating hotel actually power? Start with kitchens. Ovens breathe heat into busy rooms. Griddles never cool. Steamers hiss through the morning rush. Dishwashers run in cycles, feeding heat back into the air. Walk-in coolers push cold out, while the galley fights it back. Every calorie served has a kilowatt behind it. Now, climate. Air conditioning is a quiet giant. Chillers make cold water. Pumps push it through long loops. Air handlers drink that cold and breathe it into cabins. Humidity control is not optional. Moist air breeds mold, and mold ruins voyages. Sensors watch temperatures in public spaces and staterooms. At night, loads shift from pool decks to theaters. In port, some spaces open to warm air and the loop works harder. Fresh water is another engine. Reverse osmosis fights pressure. Membranes clog. Backflush. Replace. Repeat. Every liter on deck starts as seawater below. Laundry is relentless. Tons of linen move every day. Washers, extractors, dryers, ironers. Steam burns time. Soft water protects fabric. Chemistry matters as much as electricity. Elevators ride the spine of the ship. Dozens of cars starting and stopping every minute. Peak traffic after shows feels like a vertical highway. Waste never sleeps. Compactors press trash. Food waste systems grind and process. Pipes and tanks get sanitized on a clock, not on a whim. The hotel load is not a single switch. It is thousands of tiny decisions. A thermostat nudge here. A door held open there. A walk-in left ajar. Each costs watts. Watts become fuel. Fuel becomes dollars. Smart ships chase efficiency. LED lighting cuts heat and draw. Variable speed drives tune pumps. Smart scheduling staggers peaks. Pre-chill before the rush. Coast the chill during the show. But comfort has a floor. Too warm and guests complain. Too cold and guests complain. So the ship walks a line between comfort and cost hour after hour. Bucket 6. Insurance, maintenance, and capital. Even on a perfect day, the meter runs. Insurance, hull, and liability, about $20,000 per day, prorated. Planned maintenance, paint, parts, overhauls, dry dock accruals, about $50,000 per day on average. And the ship itself, $1 billion asset aging every hour. Spread capital and upgrades over its life, about $110,000 per day. Together, about $180,000 per day. Bucket 7. Entertainment and bandwidth. Shows do not power themselves. Licensing for big titles, performers and rehearsal time, costumes and repairs, lighting rigs, LED walls, projectors, pool chemicals and slide upkeep, kids clubs, arcades, activities. And the quiet money pit, satellite bandwidth, thousands of phones hitting the sky at once, antennas track satellites, plans throttle and prioritize. It is never cheap. Rolled together, about $25,000 per day. Hidden levers. Why the same cruise costs more in July than in October. Fuel hedges can save a fortune or backfire. Weather raises burn and shuffles itineraries. Health protocols add staff and supplies. Currency swings nudge wages and port fees. Regulations tighten. Low sulfur fuel near coasts. Shore power in some ports. Scrubbers and sensors everywhere. Compliance is a cost and a choice about reputation. Day in the life. 24 hours on the receipt. 4:30 a.m. Engine room night watch. Logs checked. Fuel transfer planned. 5 a.m. Bakeries wake the ship. Dough proofed. Ovens warm. Coffee first. Questions later. 6:15 a.m. Housekeeping rolls. Carts lined. Linens counted. Elevators busy. 7 a.m. Water plants upshift. Showers spike. Pumps earn their keep. 8:30 a.m. Bridge checks weather. A knot faster. A knot slower. The fuel curve decides. 9:45 a.m. Galley preps lunch. Chilled rooms hum. Thermometers win every argument. 11 a.m. Pools open wider. Filters, chlorine, guards in rotation. 12:30 p.m. Laundry hits noon peak. Mountains in, mountains out. 2 p.m. Waste management cycle. Segregate, compact record. 3:30 p.m. Entertainment tech checks. Lights, audio, backups. 5 p.m. Early seating. Dining rooms bloom. Steady hands carry hot plates. 7:30 p.m. Primetime show. Queues tight. Spotlights clean. 10 p.m. Galley deep clean. Surfaces reset. Drains flushed. 11:15 p.m. Night orders on the bridge. Speed for tide. Pilot booked. Tugs on standby. Every hour, another line on the receipt. Not every day costs the same. A sea day is motion and appetite. Engines work. Pools pull chemicals. People linger on board. Bars hum at noon. Shops pulse after dinner. Entertainment sells the night. Revenue climbs, but so does fuel. A port day is clocks and tolls. Engines slow. The hotel load shifts to doors and gangways. The pilot boards with a handshake. Tugs nudge steel into geometry. Dockage starts the stopwatch. Passenger fees count heads, not smiles. Waste landing is paperwork and hoses, not applause. Onboard spending dips when feet touch shore, but shore days sell shore. Excursions print memories and margin. The itinerary decides the dance. Short hops favor port bills over fuel. Long hauls favor fuel over port bills. Early arrivals steal sleep, but win a berth and a sunrise. Late departures sell sunsets, but stretch pilots and tugs. Weather edits the script. Swells shuffle arrival times. Wind steals or grants speed. A missed slot becomes a circle at sea. A smart captain reads not just water, but economics. Comfort without delay. Efficiency without drama. Both days feed the same receipt. They just stir different lines, comparisons, size and day type, older, smaller ship, lower fuel, smaller crew, lower port tolls, but smaller cabins, and lower onboard revenue. Mega ship, more mouths to feed, bigger port bills, but scale helps. Cost per passenger can be kinder. Sea day, fuel high, hotel load steady, onboard revenue strong. Port day, fuel lower overall. Pilotage and port fees spike. Some spending moves ashore. Your receipt dances to the tune of the itinerary. What if scenarios? Stress test the bill. Scenario A, fuel up 20%. Our $120,000 becomes about $144,000. That is about $24,000 more today. Over a week, that is about $168,000 more. Scenario B, occupancy down 10%. Fixed costs do not care. Fuel, wages, and insurance barely budge. You still pay pilots. You still pay ports. Revenue per guest shrinks. Onboard spending has fewer wallets. Margins get thin fast. Scenario C, slow steaming, -2 knots. Save about $10,000 to $15,000 on fuel. But arrive later, sell fewer excursions, or lose your prime berth. Operationally smart is not always commercially smart. Let's run a quick case. Baseline, fuel plus hotel load, about $120,000 today. Option 1, slow steaming by 2 knots. The curve is kind. 10 to 15% off burn is common. 12% is a reasonable middle. That saves roughly $12,000 on today's fuel mix, but time is a currency. Arrive an hour later, and excursions shift or shrink. Prime berths can go to someone else. Pilot windows are narrower than sunsets. Savings on fuel can leak through revenue. Option 2. Speed up now. Slow later. Spend more today. Save a port delay tomorrow. Fuel goes up this hour. Port fees avoid a penalty next hour. Operationally smart must pass a commercial test. Option 3. Buy certainty. A fuel hedge fixes price. It does not fix weather. If spot prices fall, you paid for calm seas and got a storm of regret. If prices spike, you look like a genius. Hedges protect plans, not miracles. The best lever is timing. Sail slower at night when demand on board dips. Nudge speed toward daylight when guests are out. Chase tailwinds when they arrive. Turn toward shelter when they do not. The math is not just dollars, it is promises. Arrival is a promise. Comfort is a promise. Safety is a promise. The right speed keeps promises and keeps the receipt readable. Ready to print the receipt? Let's print the receipt. Fuel and propulsion, including hotel load, about $120,000. Food and beverage, about $96,000. Crew wages and benefits, about $180,000. Port fees and taxes, about $60,000. Hotel operations, power, water, and waste, about $45,000. Insurance, maintenance, and capital, about $180,000. Entertainment and bandwidth, about $25,000. Added up, our 24-hour bill lands around $706,000. Split across 4,000 passengers, that is roughly $176 per passenger per day, before premium drinks, spa, excursions, casino, or souvenirs. Perspective, that ice cream melting on deck. Behind it is a power plant, a small army, and a moving resort. Cruising is a margin game. Tiny levers move huge numbers. Speed, weather, fuel, occupancy. Line by line, this is what it truly costs to keep a floating city alive. Which receipt should we print next? A pro sports game night, a data center for a day, a theme park, an airport overnight. Tell us below and say which number surprised you most. If you like clean breakdowns without fluff, subscribe and we will turn the next big question into real numbers you can see. This video is educational. It uses estimates from public sources. Actuals vary by ship, by route, and by season. Some visuals are illustrative. We are not affiliated with any brand. Not financial advice. Thanks for watching.